Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Marc, the Intuitive Prospector, back for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with Marc here on the Om Times Institute page. I have been off the whole month of September, and I'm finally diving back in, getting back into the spiritual realm, and we're going to have a good time, good topic this morning. Hope you're doing well. If you missed the show, we were over on Om Times Magazine in August. I took the month of September off, and now we're here streaming live on the Om Times Institute page. If you're not familiar with the Om Times Institute page, please check it out. You can like the page, and you can also subscribe to the live video feeds that we're running here through Om Times Institute. So I took the month off of September, went over to Europe, went to the countries of Malta, to Sicily, Italy, and finished up my trip in London, and now I'm back. So if you want to check out the work that I'm doing through Learn It Live, you can get to that link right here in the description field after you join and subscribe to this page. I have the comment section turned off for right now because I'll have my live after show over on the Intuitive Prospector page, which I'll put that link, or if somebody could be kind enough to put that link to the Facebook page, the Intuitive Prospector, in the comment section, that would be fantastic. The Q&A show follows right up after my live Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with a direct conversation with you, the spiritual prospectors out there in the world, to answer your questions, free readings, spiritual philosophy, mediumship, psychic, just talking about what's going on around the world. And there's a lot going around in the world, so I just want to just take a second to say a prayer and send out healing for those impacted by the Vegas shooting. A lot of things going on in the world, and pain makes us pay attention, if you will. Even when I was at a country in London, there was a bombing on the train. Luckily, nobody got hurt, but it still puts everybody kind of on edge when there's these terrorist acts and these random acts of violence. So just wanted to just take a moment to recognize all the people that have been impacted by this latest violence. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about signs of mediumship. And I wanted to share with you some of the signs that I first started to pick up when I first started to become a psychic medium. Not something that I actually thought I would be doing in my career. I started off in the Coast Guard, got out of the Coast Guard and became a professional firefighter, EMT, and due to injury, I had to retire early, and so that kind of put me on a path of looking at sports medicine, human performance, psychology, the human mind, and meditation, and through that opened me up to the work that I'm doing today here in Seattle, Washington, of psychic mediumship, and learning how this all works. Along with my own tragedies, I've had a lot of personal tragedies with murder myself, and a family member, cancer, multiple sclerosis, my own near-death experience. And so all of that combined kind of rewired me and retuned me to start looking at what happens when we pass over. And I don't like to use the word die because that implies an end. And when we pass over, it's just an energy moving on to a different state, a different form, if you will. So I'm going to give you some things to talk about this morning, some topics that will help you if you're not sure you're a medium, or not sure you want to be a medium, kind of like myself when I first started, but just to connect with something bigger than yourself, connect with those loved ones that are still around us, just in the what we call the etheric world, and they're just a thought away. They really are, and they can bring through many signs, symbols, and synchronistic events for us if we pay attention and we're open and aware to it. But before we begin, I want to take a second just to get into the moment. I always say that the magic is in the moment of where we're at, not in the future, not in the past, but right here with Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with Marc here on the Om Times Institute. So in order to do that, we've got to have some coffee. We've got to have some tea, some coffee. I'm drinking a little bit of English breakfast this morning. And let's just take a deep breath. Let's get into the present moment. And just put the past aside just for a few minutes. A lot of us like to carry the past as a life sentence in trying to change things that we can't change in the past. And just taking a second to put the future at hold. The future, our mind is always in the future, if you will. And just come to the present moment, because the magic really is in the moment. Just take a deep breath. Think about your passions. Think about your purpose. Think about why you're here. Think about what you want to get out of today, because today is all we have. This is the guarantee that we're given, is today, not tomorrow, not 2 days from now. And yeah, I say that because I've seen it firsthand with my work in the Coast Guard, in the fire service. You just never know. And so it is really powerful and priceless to be in the present moment. And then also just take a second, take another deep breath. And let's get gangster on gratitude real quick. The things that you're grateful for. I've been working with a lot of clients since I've gotten back last week from Europe, and been talking to a lot of clients. And there's just a lot going on in the world, and I always just tell them, whether it's family members or career or love life, depression, the world, media. I just tell them, come back to the present moment and be grateful. Let's have an attitude for gratitude. That's what these Monday mornings are all about. One of the worst days that people hate is Monday, so I figured what better way and what better day to connect with all the spiritual prospectors out there around the world, and just come into the moment and be thankful for what you do have: the breath in your lungs, the eyes to see, the ears to hear, food to taste. Because there are people, I've got a family member that can't walk and can't do the things that I take for granted. So have an attitude for gratitude. I want you to write down a couple things that you're grateful for today, including tea or coffee. And let's talk about signs of a medium and things that might be going on with your life. I also will give you a spirit animal totem card, and I will also give you a crystal and a number for this week. Like I said, I'm here every Monday morning, except when I'm on vacation, which was all of the month of September. But I'll be here moving forward every Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then right after this, Metaphysical Mocha Mondays here on Om Times Institute, I will be live over at 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Q&A after show, where I can actually have a conversation with all of you amazing people out there around the world who tune in and follow me. And please subscribe to the live feed here on the Om Times Institute, and check out my classes over on the Learn It Live platform. A lot of fun, amazing classes, amazing teachers, tutors, mentors, all in the different topics of spirituality. And just want to talk about mediumship this morning. So we've got a few minutes here. Excuse me, I still have a little cough. I ended up picking up a little bit of bronchitis on my plane ride home, unfortunately. So been healing this last week. Had to take last week off because I had no voice. Kind of sounded like Darth Vader, if you will. So just finally getting better, and that's just part of when you travel abroad, that transforms you, as well as you're exposed to more things, and that included being on a 9-hour plane ride that unfortunately got me sick. So let me just grab my cards here real quick. I want to give you a numerology number for the week. I want to give you a totem animal spirit for the week, and I want to give you a crystal for the week. Things that just help you out, and then we'll talk about mediumship as well. So if you're a first-time spiritual prospector joining me here on Om Times Institute, like I said, we used to go live on Om Times Magazine. We've switched over to Om Times Institute. Please put your comments in the comment section. I will go back later after the video is over and respond best I can, depending on how many responses we got. Let me know where you're from. I can say hello, welcome you, and just let me know what's going on in the world with you. So today's number for this week, I give positive affirmations for the week until next Monday. This card is going to be effort. I know it's backwards, so I don't show it too long. But the number is 13, or the number 4. And the 13 of effort is really all about, it's just telling you to put in the extra effort to overcome your current obstacles and challenges that you're facing. So this message is for you. If you're having a lot of obstacles and challenges, you are now being tested. And sometimes when we're tested, we have to rise above, and we have to put in effort. And you get out what you put in, is the old saying. So attitude is a big part of your effort. Is your attitude based on being, self-pity? Is it based on laziness? Is it based on negativity or frustration? or is it based on positivity, visualization, manifestation, what you're putting in, because your thoughts drive your words, your actions, your behavior. So it all starts with your thoughts. So the card today, number 13, effort. Put effort in, and again, what kind of attitude are you putting around the effort to overcome obstacles and challenges and things that may be in your way? And we all have that. Life happens. I have a little shrine here, and at the top it says life happens, because life never asks us what we want. We have to learn to surf the waves of change and be big wave surfers, because waves of change are going to consistently come at us with life, just like the ocean continuously flows. So what kind of effort are you putting in? What kind of attitude do you have towards that effort? As far as the spirit animal card goes, I just kind of pull these at random. Today is the cougar card, so if you're seeing the cougar card, that's saying that you can do it. And so I love doing this work because we get a lot of synchronistic events, we get a lot of coincidences, if you will, and the effort card got pulled up. The cougar card came up for the totem animal spirit. So if you're seeing the cougar, hearing the cougar, TV, magazine, print, what have you, the universe is saying that you can do it, to have confidence in yourself, but you have to put in that effort. And that's why, even my company is called the Intuitive Prospector, because I help people spiritually prospect for their own spiritual goal, but I also let them know that they have free will and personal responsibility, and that they must put in the effort, the right equipment, the right attitude, the right area, and go out and prospect for what they're looking for. It's hard work. You can get dirty, you can get sweaty, but at the end of the day, when you put in that work and you find that spiritual gold, or you literally find the gold, you're going to be excited. It's going to be well worth the effort. But again, your intent equals your outcome. Energy follows intent. So what is your intent? What is your effort? And if you see the cougar is going to let you know that you can do it. The universe, those in the spirit world that are still part of our world, as cheerleaders, as guides, like I said, just a thought away from mediumship. So this morning, the stone for today, and I'll put these pictures in later when I can, is sterilite. And sterilite is known as a fairy cross. It's believed to be formed with the tears the fairies shed when they heard the news of the crucifixion of Christ. So it's called sterilite. It's a yellow-brown stone, reddish-brown. Next week I'll have my stone. I have it here, but I just didn't get a chance to research it, that I brought back from the island of Malta, and it's a fun stone. So I'll talk about that next week. If you use sterilite, though, it enhances and strengthens rituals. It is used in what we call white magic ceremonies. So bringing in the light, the summer solstice, the winter solstice is coming up in a little bit. So these are stones to help with seasonal change. It's called sterilite. Again, it's usually in some form of a cross matrix. It has a cross shape to it. And again, they say that these are the tears that were shed from fairies at the crucifixion of Christ. So, but it's also said to access the ancient wisdom of the Middle East. So the stones connect to the psychic, etheric, and spiritual planes. So it's a good stone to meditate with. If you've never meditated with stones, I highly recommend it. I used to be a big doubter of it, and then I did it when I was at the Omega Institute. Somebody introduced me to crystals and stones, and they really do increase and raise your vibration. And if you think about, one of my favorite quotes from Nikola Tesla is, if you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And stones and crystals can actually raise your vibration. If you don't believe me on that, check out the crystal caves down in Mexico. Huge caves full of crystals that you can only spend a certain amount of time in, because it has an influence on the human anatomy. So the stone itself for sterilite is from, it's mined in the United States, Russia, and also in the Middle East. It is available in specialist shop, and again, it looks like a cross, and I'll put a picture after I'm done today, called sterilite, and it is known as the fairy cross, and is believed to be formed by the tears of fairies during the crucifixion of Christ. Not to get into religion, I don't do religion. I'm all about spirituality and your own path. Religion is based on whatever your belief is. One truth, many reasons, many records, as we like to say. So let's talk about for the next 10 minutes or so. Let's talk about just some signs that you might be experiencing with being a medium. And some of the things that I started to notice after I was transformed from my own near-death experiences, not one, but two near-death experiences. I'm going to adjust the camera here real quick. My camera's about to fall, so I apologize. It's a little rusty here. I've been moving around. I didn't take it to Europe with me. There we go. Okay. So when I started to be rewired in the brain, I guess, the pineal gland, which is it comes right here to the third eye chakra, through the tragedies of watching family members, one be murdered, one pass from brain cancer, one pass from multiple sclerosis, it changed me. It changed my thought process. It changed my perception of how I looked at the world. It changed my belief in how I was raised. So I was raised Catholic, and was confirmed as an adult in the Catholic Church. But my experiences didn't match the things that I had learned, and so I started to prospect for things that would fit me. And not that my experiences are going to fit you that are out there watching around the world, but just to share those experiences so you can prospect for what makes sense to you and what's right, to use your analytical mind, to use your intuitiveness, to feel what is right. Not just think what's right, but also to feel what is right. And a lot of mediumship is based on your intuition and surrendering the ego and getting to a place that's still and quiet and really hearing the subtle etheric world, those in the etheric world, because it's a higher vibration. So if you think about it here, higher vibration, we're on Earth, lower vibration, and when we raise our vibration up as humans, whether that's through the power of meditation, through the power of using crystals and stones, and we set that intent to want to connect with those on the other side, and they lower their energy down, there's a blending that takes place to where messages can be received. Names, addresses, how they passed, how they lived their life, what do they see of the world today. And so I'm a British trained medium, so what that means is I go every year over to England, just north of London, and I study at an actual college, and it studies mediumship, it studies psychic sciences, spiritual healing. And when I started to go down this path, when I was in my graduate studies of sports medicine, having these things take place, I wanted to understand more about it. And so I started off at the Omega Institute here in the United States, which is a great place. A lot of great teachers go through the Omega Institute. And then that led me to England to start studying every year. And I go every year to study, to learn, to develop, to grow, and to do mediumship professionally the right way, to be accurate and evidential in the work that I do. Now, I am human, so there are days where you just don't feel like connecting, or you're just not hitting the mark, and you got to realize that as a professional and acknowledge that, and not know when to do the work, or if the reading is just not going right, be able to offer a full refund if you're wasting that person's time and wasting your time. And that's part of being professional in doing this work. I know a lot of psychic mediums out there don't do refunds. I haven't only had to ever do one, so there's that trust and leaning into the spirit world and those to come through to give me the right messages when I need it. But a lot of it's surrendering. A lot of it is acknowledging what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you feel. So you may be getting, one of the things about mediumship is you may be getting mental images. In the current age, a lot of mediums that are starting out or upcoming, or even mediums that work professionally like myself, we see through the power of clairvoyance, which is we see thoughts, we see images, mental images that flash through our mind, because they can't connect to us via vocal cords because they don't have vocal cords. So they connect to us via what we call mental mediumship, and so they connect to us mind to mind, and they'll do that through images that we understand, our perception, our database of information and experiences that we've had. And then when you're given that message, when I'm doing this work, in fact, I'll be in 2 weeks, I'll be in Boston. So if there's any spiritual prospectors in Boston, Massachusetts, I'll be out there with the wonderful Deborah Livingston doing a platform demonstration on Friday evening, a workshop on Saturday, and then a private spirit circle on Sunday. So you can go to marclanehart.com for that information and ticket. And then I'll be up in Vancouver at the end of the month working with the wonderful Melissa White on the same thing, demonstration, a workshop. So if you want to get tickets to that on Eventbrite, go to marclanehart.com to get those. But when you're standing up in front of people and you're getting these images, and I don't know anybody, I'm meeting spirit for the first time, I'm meeting people in Boston for the first time, or other past demonstrations, I start getting images. And some of these images are I'll be honest, they're funky. They're they're out there, but you've got to trust that that is the Spirit's way of trying to connect with you. So you got to be able to develop and trust that link, if you will, that power, so you can share that information with the person, the recipient in the audience that is come to connect with their loved ones, because there's a sense of closure, there's a sense of healing, there's a sense of just acknowledgement and love that takes place. So when you're getting mental images, which are later confirmed of having been accurate, that's a big thing of clairvoyance and using mediumship. And so what we want to do is when you work as a medium, you want just yes or no, does that make sense to you? And it might not. Sometimes it makes sense later to the person that's receiving that. But you want to give that information. So that's one of the first things that I discovered when I started working as a medium, or when I guess I was chosen to work as a medium, because I don't think I really raised my hand to choose to do this. And I always tell people, I've done hundreds of readings now in the last 4+ years, and I tell people, all of my clients, and I'll tell you here on Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, I'm either one hell of a good guesser, or there is literally something to mediumship and connecting to the etheric world, connecting to energy, connecting to vibration, connecting to thoughts, connecting to love. And I really like to say that it really comes down to its energy from the spirit world or the etheric world, from spirit, through spirit, as I'm a spiritual being here having a physical experience, to spirit, those in the audience, those that come to my studio here in Seattle and have a one-on-one reading, or those in an audience. Do I get it wrong? Heck, yeah, all the time. That's where you develop, and that's where you learn and constantly train and do this. I have a spiritual development group, so if you're interested in joining the spiritual development group, it's an online weekly development, closed to the public, so you'd have to email me or visit marclanehart.com to get more information on that. But development, constantly working, putting in effort. Remember the effort cart that I talked about at the very beginning? Effort. Effort is a big part of mediumship. So you're seeing images that might take place in your mind, and then that are confirmed as accurate or evidential, what we call evidential or accurate information. The person's name, how they passed, what they did in life, what do they see of us in the present tense, how they were laid to rest, what's their gravestone look like, do they come through in signs, symbols, and synchronistic events? My brothers come through with 2 dimes or 2 nickels. My father-in-law comes through as a red-tipped hawk. We see red-tipped hawk because at the time of his funeral, there was a red-tipped hawk circling right above us. So you get all these different signs, symbols, and synchronistic events. It could be movies, it could be music, it could be something that triggers you, what we call a trigger object that reminds you that they're just a thought away and they're very close. Sometimes you can smell fragrances of that aren't actually present. When I first started, I could actually smell smoke of a pipe, and it was a good friend of mine, a colleague of mine, and I asked her, I said, why am I smelling tobacco smoke, and I've got a gentleman here that's older that would be your grandfather. And she didn't know. She actually had to go check. She didn't know that he smoked. She's like, I don't know. She went and asked her grandma, and she's like, oh yeah, Grandpa smoked all the time when he was younger. So, and he had a very fragrant pipe, and that's what I was smelling. And so the analytical mind's looking around to say, okay, is there somebody smoking? Is that why I'm smelling smoke? So a lot of times, clairgustance or clairfactura is the ability to smell something or to taste something with your senses, and you're using all of your 5 senses as a medium, and that's one way of your mediumship starting to grow and to start unlock. You feel like the air is suddenly full of energy. You may feel your hair stand up. I get this all the time. Clairsentience is the ability to feel the spirit world around you, the etheric world, and then mentally hear messages in your mind. You're not going crazy. Trust me, I went through this myself. So you may see mental images. You may hear something in your mind. You may feel energy. You may smell something. You may taste something. You may start to see things move out of the peripheral, the corner of your vision. Spirit moves very fast, but when we look dead on, we don't see it. It's the same thing as working with the auric field and seeing somebody's color. You don't see the auric field dead on. You actually relax your eyes, use your peripheral vision, and the aura actually starts to come alive. So the spirit world is the same thing, but you'll notice more if you're seeing things out of the corner of your eye. It's not that your eye is going crazy or anything's wrong with your eyes. It's the spirit world is trying to get your attention. They just move very quickly, and it's almost like we're a step behind, and that's why we see it in the peripheral. Walking into some places that causes you to feel different. I had this experience in Europe. I walked into a church in Cefalù. It was built in the 1100s, and I got dizzy. I had to actually walk out. And so if you know, there's a famous church in Cefalù that's very, very old, very, very old energy, a lot of history, and it was very overpowering for me. So you may walk into some place and you may feel differently. You may feel that your thoughts have changed. You're having mental flashes, hearing things, smelling things. That's part of mediumship. And the other thing that I've noticed about mediumship is electronics. When I'm working with somebody, the light will flicker, get rappings, knocking sounds. I'll do a Skype feed, and the Skype feed will start to get a little twitchy. Again, energy, frequency, and vibration is all about mediumship. And I'll be teaching a class a little bit later this month in October. It is October now, talking more about mediumship and talking more about awareness. I have some great classes out there if you want to get into spiritual ABCs, level 1, 2, and 3. I have those 3 classes that talks about awareness and awakening, breathing and balance, connection and consciousness. Those are my 3 summer classes that I did through the summer. And I'll be doing a mediumship class later this month, just trying to get back on track, get back into doing the Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I'm going to head over to the Q&A after show over on the Intuitive Prospector page to have a direct conversation with you. Again, spiritual philosophy, free readings, good way to connect. And I do that for about a half hour as my way of giving back and trying to help people without having to pay for a reading. So if you want to join me, it's the Intuitive Prospector page on Facebook. I'll put the link. If nobody did put the link, I will put the link in there. I want to thank you for your time today. I'll be back next Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you're somewhere in the United States, it's going to be 9 or 10 if you're Central or Mountain. And then follow is the Q&A after show over on the Intuitive Prospector page. Have a wonderful week. Let me grab another cup of coffee here, or my tea, my English breakfast. Put in a lot of effort this week based on the card. Keep an eye out for the cougar, because the cougar is all about letting you know that you can do it. And pay attention to the sterilite stone, which is the cross stone. And if you're wanting to learn more about mediumship, psychic sciences, please visit marclanehart.com. You can find me on Learn It Live, which the links are in this. Please subscribe to this video so you can keep up every Monday. And you can also join my YouTube library, which has all of my Metaphysical Mocha Monday shows, my live internet show, Inspired Living Radio, where we've had amazing guests the last 2 years. So you can catch all of those on my YouTube video library. Just look for Marc Lanehart, the Intuitive Prospector. If you want to work with me, I work via phone, video, here in person in Seattle, Washington. Have a great week. I always like to say, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and I will see you next Monday morning for another Metaphysical Mocha Monday. Take care. Namaste.